How do you not smile? Right?
I'm mad at you. First of all, who made that beat? If that's a stock beat, I'm gonna be ultra salty because I got the cache of beats right here. We could have done something way better, way custom. Throw that
Season 2?
What?
Let's do that. Season 2?
Yeah.
Can we do like a compilation?
I have, dude. I make beats like all day. All the Hapily stuff is all every beat I've made. What we do?
Awesome.
What's wrong with
The
you?
things that people need to know, Dax.
What? I'm hungry. Let me eat food as fast as possible. Don't ever be afraid, for the people listening. Don't ever be afraid to eat well on a call because we're human. Humanity wins. It's going to be like, dude, what are you doing? This is my time. I was like, sir, I have to survive. This is the sustenance I need to give you the value that you deserve.
Until our writers get bigger, we got to do what we got to do. It's just an honor to be able to have the man, the myth, the legend himself on here.
Fibs.
You are all those things. Richard, I apologize. I digress. You hit it. Do your intro. Do your thing.
All right. Since we're here.
B-roll game is strong.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of That's Growth Ops, where fireside warmth meets the sharp insights of operation experts. Join us for candid conversations that dive deep into growth operations, from the latest in account-based marketing to innovative strategies for growth. Tune in for actionable insights and a bit of fun, all designed to ignite your operational excellence and fuel your growth engine. Now, today, I have a truly inspiring guest with us. He's the co-founder and chief care officer of Hapily, a company making waves in the world of technology with innovative products and a strong brand presence. Not only does he handle the concierge support and onboarding at Hapily, but he also oversees product innovation, branding, and customer interaction. Basically, the whole shebang. So please join me in welcoming the endlessly creative Dax Miller.
Hey.
That's a ridiculous. You trying to put that resume on LinkedIn?
You got the soundboard over there?
You get a lot of applicants, but he
I'm
does have a soundboard.
I'm doing myself a disservice. I'll tell you that much. I will be quiet and live a humble, small Texan life and not share anything with anybody. That's pretty my problem. That's why. That's not a growth. For everyone that needs to do growth, do the opposite of that. You should put yourself out there. I kind of don't. I just sit in my house, eat seaweed. And
I
raisins.
see you like trying though. Like I don't know if the attempt is like, from my narrow point of view, and we've met a couple of times. From the first time I met you, you just had like the charisma that you don't often get with a software developer. Not to like box you into something, but on LinkedIn, I appreciate that you echo the conversation of be yourself, because who you are is great. Everybody's self is great. Be you.
Yeah. If you don't think you're the best person on earth, then you should reconsider and look in the mirror, because you are. Every single person is the best. They should believe that they're the best, because they indeed are. I don't even exist in a lot of people's worlds. Neither do you two. But everything that is important in that universe is made and created by the person, the beholder, right? When you look at molecules, they change because you're looking at them. And the idea of not looking and everything that means you are the controller, you are the creator of the universe around you. I think that just being yourself is nothing else but being comfortable in your own skin. And boy, oh boy, am I chilling in my skin.
I mean, your outer skin too. Your outfits are always fire when I see you.
Dude, if I'm sitting in my house with pajamas on, basically, if I'm leaving the house, I'm going to step out. Every time I go out, I have to show out.
You know what? I was going to say, like, hey, maybe I'll dress up this inbound when I see you, but honestly, I'm probably going to be in a dry fit polo, maybe a t-shirt and some jeans.
Dude.
I'm a very warm individual, so I got to dress for comfort. If I'm going to be smiling for 3, 4, 5 days straight, I need to be chill. That's my
heavily insulated individual. Understood.
I'm already insulated. That's the problem.
I'm just saying, no one is trying to be better than anybody else in the real world. If they really think about it. They just need to be them and the best version of themselves, and then everything else will be a reflection of that. Because again, nothing happens to you. Everything happens because of you.
Science.
Tis science.
Yes. I use the you physically cannot grow without changing. It is science. So that's like been my hook. Trying to just find an easy way for people to say, yeah, what you're doing right now is not working. You need to do something different.
Yeah. You mentioned the hook, right? Like I don't have a voice yet, right? This is again, I've been not negative presence on LinkedIn for the past, forever. until like the past like 6 months or so, 3.5 months maybe. That's just by knowing, like I know that that's wrong to not do that. If you go on LinkedIn and scroll, you want anything and scroll. What do you see? You see stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's nothing to sell. And if you don't sell anything, and you're not even selling yourself, selling the image, selling positivity, right? Giving away for free, some sort of exchange of energy. And I've just been struggling at that because I've been head down building stuff. It's good, bad, but you got to know what's wrong with you. That's what's wrong with me, everybody.
I mean, you brought up a very foundational point for marketing, though, is people can't buy unless they know that you exist to facilitate the transaction. A lot of what I've understood you to do and Hapily to do is help with the post that transaction of making that relationship better. But also, you guys face a little bit of a challenge of how do you educate a market that the tools that you all build and exist and make the HubSpot ecosystem better in whatever unique use case that you're presenting. I'll shout out Events Hapily because I got the demo from Max without having seen it before and having a long career in events. I was very happy to see it.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's a little difficult, right? When you have a niche of a niche, right? We have the HubSpot ecosystem, then you have
a niche,
the specific. Hey, I do events, right? And then it's like I have enterprise HubSpot. So that's your TAM of those individuals, right? How do you speak to that? You cannot. You can't. You just have to be. This is the value I provide. Let me show you all the different use cases. Let me show you all the different ways that you could ditch spreadsheets. Stop auditing how many sponsors paid for this. Stop wondering if, okay, did everybody get the recording link? I have to set that up and having 3, 4, 5 different systems showing here's how you use and manage events or upcoming quotes. Here's how the best way to do quote unquote rules. That's what we're building, right? And that's a difficult thing to talk about without, I don't want to be on the internet just pitching like, hey, buy this thing. You should use it. It will solve your problems. It's more like, do you have these problems? We should talk about it.
I almost feel like maybe a back channel way to service is for you to facilitate a virtual or physical room where people can share the problems they're coming up against to help you all decide what you create next. I was not here to solve any hypothetical problem I just made up for you, though. So sorry, I like that. It's just what I do.
No, the concept is that like that exists. You got HubSpot forums. Hey, man, I wish this worked. You have HubSpot reps. Hey, man, I'm trying to sell this HubSpot thing to folks, and this doesn't work, or they have this challenge. Does anybody know of an answer? So I wouldn't say the cries for help, but the whinnies of necessity, I don't know, that's the best way, are out there. And it's just about, are you listening, right? That's why it's, are you listening? Are you open to those messages? Right? A lot of things are like, you need to be open to receiving messages, you need to be open to accepting. Same thing with like, you need to be open to giving. I kind of think of that in a two-way street where, when you giving is a big deal. And if you want to call yourself a go-giver, you want to keep providing, you need to be open to accepting too. And I think you guys are probably in the same boat. You're great humans. When someone's like, yo, let me hook you up with something, you're like, nah, I'm good. You want a cup of water, glass, anything? No, I'm good. Like, because you don't want to feel that you're inconveniencing somebody. Like, it's not even a weakness of accepting, but it's an inconveniencing. You don't have to give me what you have. It's cool. I'm happy. I'm content. But that is a big challenge for people like us. You need to accept, because what you're doing is you're blocking off that energy from somebody that's trying to share with you. And you're like, no, I'm good. It's not nice. It's not reciprocal. So that's one of the things I think about with challenges and problems is talk about your challenges, talk about your solutions, listen to other people's challenges and listen to other people's solutions. Just make that two-way, make that a closed circuit. And you're going to get the energy that you need out of that.
That kind of like segues to this like focus of conversation I want to talk to you about. And that's, you've identified, hey, problems exist. And you and I go about problem solving from, I would say, probably the two opposite angles. So my career has been, and starting to know Rich pretty well now, a lot of the service side of problem solving. Identify the problem, what tools and resources are available now for me to solve that problem. And I've just never had the process in my brain of this problem has come up over and over again. Let me build a tool to fix the problem. And that, from my first time meeting you and hearing your story, was really what impressed me. Is I just can't get over the fact that brains like yours exist. When did you know that when did you know that building tools to solve repeatable problems was your path?
So everything always starts with the thumbs, right? You only have two. Scalable problem, right? I've always had two thumbs. Everyone I know, for the most part, has two. So you only can do so much as a human. And all the companies that I've started or been a part of, it's always been some sort of service in the beginning. And that service is, to be completely transparent, is very profitable. Like your time, it doesn't cost you any money for your time at all. It costs you time, which is more important than money by, leaps and bounds. But I could sell 24 hours in the day. I can get better and faster, or maybe delegate and start to get marginal return or further returns on that time. But every single thing started as a service. Even Hapily, aka Appchemist back in the day, started as a service. It was, hey, I need to build a portal. Can you help me? HubSpot doesn't have one. Me and Tyrone, hey Tyrone, you can code 9 trillion times better than I can. Can you make a portal and do it? We did that for one person. Awesome. Start to look at the forums. Hey, a lot of other people need a portal. What portal exists that they're using right now? Zendesk. Is there integration? Not really. We should see if we can build it once and sell it a bunch of times, right? But it all still started with the service of there's a single person with a single problem and someone with two thumbs that thinks that they can fix it. Then once you have that kind of how to build software concepts of, okay, well, if I did this once, you can make this, they can install, and understanding that SaaS flow, then now it's a repeatable problem or a repeatable solution that you can implement as almost self-serve software. That's kind of how everything started here. And even companies in the past, same idea of, hey, you have a problem, I think I can solve it. Let me solve it. Then someone else comes with the same problem. You're like, wait a minute, I did this already. I can copy paste, or I can make it self-serve and see if you can just put something out there in the universe that solves that problem without these two thumbs.
I mean, you may have just had a direct change in how I view problem solving, which I've been doing for a long time, because I would have never anticipated you saying that it started with service mindset and solving one problem and then scaling the problem solution. I'm a little thankful and surprised to hear that.
I mean, it's all humans, dude. That's the beginning. Like right now, I have a question. Where did you used to go if you had a question? You go to the library. Or do you know somebody that knows the answer? Call them, right? Then all of a sudden, there's a bunch of problems. Now all of a sudden, the software that can answer my problems, or at least point me in the direction to solve the problem. It all starts with a service mindset. So you're dead on as far as, hey, I do laundry. I mean, dude, delivery is an easy one. Or taxi. Hey, man, I need to ride somewhere. Let me call a taxi. Let me hail a taxi. One person, one job, gets it done. Now it's like, I wonder if you can just kind of do that at scale. Who would have thought? Laundry services, dog walking services. It's all now being a single human-to-human interaction problem solution, right? My last name is Miller. Guess what my family did eons ago? They were Millers. They were the ones that did that. You go to Singapore, you go to a hawker center, all I do is one thing. I make noodles. My family's been doing it for 900 years. That turns into something now what we have is fast food. Or we got Uber. Or we have all these things. And it still starts for the one-to-one. I have a problem. I have a solution. Can I solve this for more than one person at scale? The internet.
Is there, for some reason, this conversation is making me think about a universe that I'm in a lot, and that's ABM, outbound, connecting potential customers to service providers or people that sell a product, right? We're all over that. And in this universe, there's new tools getting spun out all the time with the end goal of saying you have to do less work in the sales process. You can scale your outbound, and there being an intrinsic loss of human connection. When I've seen a lot of those plays happen, I'm not sure why, but your perspective on how these services and things that are built, and then building a software tool around the need. Is there ever a point where you're considering, are there intentional human touch points we need to build into this software as you're interacting with people? Or is it intentional how few human interactions can we build into this? Because for whatever reason.
Ready. Fight.
Oh, man. What game is that from? Does that sound awful new?
You get copyright free sounds, I think is what Rich was like, hey man, I was trying to get a Mega Man on here, but
YouTube will like
Oh.
cut out that like it's a Squaresoft game. They'll be like Chrono Trigger melody, cut.
Yeah, man, they got it down. Software,
Because it's
problem
valuable.
found, scale it.
Yep. Well, they have this. Then what you want to use it? There's a service you call Square. Dish out 9 figures, and I'll let you use 10 seconds of one of our melodies. Cool. Service.
Yeah.
But
We're
man,
not on that budget yet. That's why you're eating seaweed before the show. I apologize.
True that. Before and during. No, but one of the things that it just made me think of, like with copywriting sound and talking about a service, the entire music industry, right? Like I told you, I make beats for funsies. I need to do something with it again. Just like I got 200 some beats. I think they're awesome. Other people probably think they sound like noise, but I haven't done anything with it, which is my problem. Except for putting them on the background of like our commercials and stuff. But there's a software called TrackLib. You know, getting clearance for samples used to be this whole thing of, okay, I want to sample this record, or I'm just sitting here, boom, and grab a record. It can be fun and grab something random, but like, let's just do it. We're here. Random record. Oh, ooh, in this album, Ike Turner's Thinking Black from Ike's Grammy nominee Black Man's Soul. What a grab. Bargain bin, 50 cents.
Arguably amazing.
Let's say I pull this out, right? I'm like, oh, cool. Listen to this. A Breath of Soul, bomb. Sample it, make a beat, cool. If I put that on the internet, like you're cut. They're like, yo, that's my work. I'm suing you, cease and desist. You can't do that. You can't profit from that. But now that used to be a service. That was a whole thing. Record labels and all this stuff would go and call the estate of Gloria, all that stuff, right? Like they would go through this process that us, like someone like me, cannot do at all. I cannot call up Donna Summer and be like, hey, my friend made this record and we're going to sell it using a sample. There's so much nuance and legalities and and now there's something called TrackLib where I can just go on, I can fill out a form, I can get anything off of their library because they've made software to solve this one-to-one solution of how do you license songs. And that blows my mind because that's something that never existed. And if it did, it changes the entire world of making music because now I can just go there. They've already had a negotiation with, hey, can we put your songs on this library? Here's your royalty, done. So that is like, again, there's still a lot of opportunity for that. And I don't want to talk to the estate of Michael Jackson. I don't. But if I'm going to buy your software, potentially, that's going to run my business, I do want to talk to somebody. I want to have a throat to choke. And I want that person to understand me and not just sell me. So that relationship is still going to be, do I want to talk to somebody? Like I'm getting a Domino's pizza. I don't really need to talk to anybody. Here's my money. I like thin crust. You already know that. Boom. Grab it, go. Or is it like, hey, you're doing our landscaping. I want to know you, say what's up, take care of you, not just be like throw money out the window from like the top floor, like, okay, thanks guys. Like you want to have that relationship, but that relationship should be up to, there's always a time and a place for, I care about talking to somebody. I want to know if something goes wrong, who I talk to. I don't want to talk to an AI agent. I don't want to talk to a FA. I don't want to read and look, I don't want to have to do my own discovery of like, what's my problem? Am I doing it wrong? Is the software wrong? I just want to be like, hey, I have this problem. Can you help me out? Ma'am, sir. So especially when you're dealing with like you guys are solutions partners in HubSpot, like you don't want to have an automated like, hey, well, our AI agent will get back to you in 24 to 48 hours with your solution. No, they want to be like, Chris, I did this. Did I break it? Help me out. Let me know what we did wrong. And you're like, no, I broke it. It's my fault. I'm going to fix it right now. Cool. Hey, humans, thanks. Appreciate it. I know that I could call somebody. And that's the biggest thing about the world that we're kind of crescendoing, whatever I'm saying. And it's happening. It's eclipsing into where are the humans in this process? A lot of the ABM stuff that you're talking about with these, the company Plato, where you can send automatic stuff and all this like everything's automated, right? Everything's automated.
They're not paying for that plug.
All this stuff is automated. Like, and I recommend like you want to scale, you want to outreach and scale. If you have a solution, like it is your duty as making software or making solutions. It is your duty to be out there. It's not like, I don't want to put myself, no, it is your duty to solve those problems, get them out there in any way, shape or form. But when that inbound comes in, be ready to talk and experience the human experience with somebody, to give them the confidence to know that there is a person somewhere controlling this part of this experience, this part of our business. So I think, again, to bring it back to the ABM model, you want to be automating outbound. Sure. Is it personalized? That's why they have people that make the videos and doing a video that you can throw in like the text, Jack, it's for you. And then, hey, this is me. You probably know that this is automated, but like even admitting that, right? Wearing your heart on your sleeve, knowing that this is like, I know, this is automated. I made this video once, I'm sending it to 30,000 people, but you're one of those important 30,000 people. Is my job, my duty that you see this. I think that's important.
The transparency, the wearing your heart on your sleeve, I feel like I've met a similar mind just hearing you describe that reality. There's pros and cons to everything. So I'm thankful I'm like this, but it does have drawbacks when you put yourself out there and you're an empathic person, you're a caring person. Just, you have to be aware that you're going to field some weird inquiries from time to time.
And people are going to stomp on you like you don't deserve to be alive. You're going to get beat up constantly. And that's the negative, right? People are like, business is business, man. Like, no, it is, but it isn't, because I don't buy from things. I buy from people. And I get kicked out of this, or I'm not a part of that, or you call my baby ugly, then yeah, I'm going to take it personally, because I'm a person. That's how other way can I take it? So there's pros and cons to that, and I will live with those cons until I die.
I will stand beside you on that hill, because it is so worth it being able to be who you are and confident in who you are and know the inherent flaws. We mean like creating company culture and building a team of people that can believe and work together in a way where that's like, hey, hate to break it to you, you're all much smarter than I am. Someone's going to make a mistake, but we got to keep it moving, and we got to keep supporting. We got to learn from that mistake so it doesn't happen again. If that happens 3 times in a row in a short period of time, okay, you might be intentionally making this mistake. We'll solve that problem differently, but wear that heart on your sleeve. Be that true human, because we're all going to get better faster by observing these mistakes and not repeating them, as I'm saying. So it's,
and you just hire somebody that's got more forthcoming and strong-willed. It's fine. Like, I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to be the CEO dude that's just, you know what, they all gotta go. And like, it's not, I cannot do that. Strength train my mind to be that way. I can get better to understand where a boundary needs to be drawn, and having boundaries, which is pretty much what we're talking about, is like, as a person, where are your boundaries? Are you willing to tell somebody no? Are you willing to let somebody call your baby ugly and then them not hear about it? That's what we're really talking about, is the boundaries. And us, we're more emphatic, and we want to come at it personal. We have what they call, I wouldn't say a need for approval, but that, like in the Sandler sales world, like that's pretty much it. Why we're not the best salespeople, because we're like, if you don't need this, dude, I'm not gonna push it down. I'm not gonna push it down your throat. Like, if you don't want this, I don't want you to have it, and then don't want it even more. I'd rather you be like, shake hands, part as friends, cool. That's not good for sales. Sales, you were supposed to be like, you said no, but you didn't really say no. So you know what? You didn't think about this or this or this, and they're like, dude, get out of my email. You know what? This is the last email I'm going to send you, but you just like, that is good for sales. That's good for numbers, right? Is that good for humanity?
It is, because there's a percentage of people that are on the fence and you're kicking them over, and there's a percentage of people that'll just say yes to get you to stop bugging them, but definitely not conducive to mid-term growth, long-term growth. I mean, totally empathize with the not selling them something they don't want or need. It does make the business of growing a business a little bit more difficult when you're not undercutting and you're doing the right things. But again, it feels so great being able to look professionally at myself growth in the mirror and be like, I am doing this the right way, even though it's not as easy as the gurus say it is on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, right? You do want to mirror the people that you're talking with, and some people need like a kick in the ass. If I can say ass, I did say ass. I said it 5 times now, ass. We sometimes need that.
Up or whatever.
Oh, that's fine. But some people need that. Some prospects, I would say, potential clients want that, need that, and that's why perseverance matters, right? It's always, marathon is the hardest right at the finish line. They're like, I like it, I want to buy it. Follow up, I will get it. And then they're just busy, emails stack up, and then eventually like, oh, thanks for following up 54 times. I needed that 54th time. I'm ready, sign. Sales. That's persistence. That is, the person has decided they want this. It's just you need to be there when they are actually have the free moment to follow up. And they'll be like, ding, yeah, bought a DocuSign, son. So again, everyone has a place on the bus. When you talk about a company, you do want to have someone that has that strong arm, that strong will. You do want to have somebody that's caring. And that's why relationships exist. That's why, families exist, of having that duality of both sides. You want to make sure that both of those are level. You don't want to have 2 alphas like going at it all the time. You don't want to have someone they're both careful with. No one wants to solve a problem because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You need to have both of those, right? And that's what makes, companies. I think the book is the E-Myth, where it's like you need that triangle. You need those 3 folks. You need the visionary, you need the manager, and you need the technician. So you need those type of people that are like the nerd, the organized person, and the person that has like the drum that's beating down and being like, follow me. You need that. That's how those things work. And I've seen that. I reference that book all the time because it just keeps being relevant, always over and over again. In every company we start, companies I see that are successful, there's always this triumvirate, triforce, if you will, of these.
How did I know as you were doing the motion that the Triforce was
Either
going to
that or the
happen?
Rock.
I would
is
have
one
put
of those,
$20 side bet for sure that was going to happen.
Yeah, that one's like, pretty ladies on the blackjack. Let's go.
What was the name of the book one more time?
The E-Myth.
The E-Myth, I think.
Yeah.
Let me just.
The
Again, I go off camera all the time.
E-Myth.
'cause
Yeah,
it's.
There's no rules here, man. We're still creating. We don't even know who we are yet. We're like a early adolescent as far as a brand voice here. So please,
dude. Again, if I'm not scared. Again, I'm just illustrating the messages in the medium here. I'm not afraid to walk and try to find the book. I do not have the book up here, but it's the E-Myth. I think it's like the 3 E-Myths, something like that. If you Google E-Myth or you insert it into your favorite.
We'll like insert
engine.
a clip. Let them know we talked about
float,
it.
Make it float by. That book.
We're not in advanced graphics yet. Again, still figuring things out. But when we get there,
The best.
we'll need an app for it.
There's software that
Happily.
does this stuff.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. So Hapily's built a few tools now.
Mhm.
HubSpot specific, Event Happily,
Mhm.
manage events better. Zebra, manage subscription payments on Stripe better.
Yep, SaaS Hapily was one of our bigger flagships. We've been working together closely with HubSpot. They're actually doing a lot of stuff in the market, but yep, we got a big one, Quote Happily.
Quote Happily. Tell me a little bit more about that, because as close as I am to your guys' universe, I'm unfamiliar.
So the term CPQ means a ton of things to a ton of people. But what we've seen and the challenges that are with HubSpotting is with quoting. I want to not have this team sell more than X amount of line items for more than this amount of discount unless their associated tickets to the deal is less than 5, right? Those type of rules, guidance, and guardrails in the quoting process don't exist in HubSpot. We built them. That's
awesome.
the simplest way. So you could do that. Plus, we're talking, hey, I think I put up on, if I want to buy a cat. I have 5. I need 6. It needs to go through an approval process, right? After first, go to me. Do I have the money? Cool. Next approval, the boss, my wife, the real one. Boom. Did she approve? Cool. Go back to the kids. Now, do you guys really want 6 cats? Approval steps. Boom, boom. So being able to do multi-step approvals based upon any conditionality within HubSpot automation or HubSpot workflows is what's a piece of that as well. A lot of people have these, well, if it's this product is involved, we have to go to finance for approval. If this product, it needs to go all the way to COO, then CEO, all of these type of things for quoting. So we really want to make this a mainstay in the HubSpot quoting system. So again, a lot of people love HubSpot, love the marketing, love the service, love the content, love everything about it. But then they're like, oh, but man, we can't bring over the sales because it's in this crazy ERP and like we have all these rules and this and that and our product and inventory and that. We want to do is overcome that for the good of HubSpot, HubSpot partners, and end users all together. And that's what Quote Happily is.
That's
pretty cool.
Actually, I mean, we do so much B2B manufacturing, and there has been plenty over the years, plenty of chatter about like the areas for improvement for HubSpot, quoting being one of them. Another is like post-quote purchase fulfillment tracking. Is that on the potential Happily list?
No, we're not looking at the inventory. No, I appreciate it. Not looking at that, but that is definitely, again, when you talk about the manufacturing industry, work with you and some of the other partners that we've talked about, there's just so many challenges in bringing that. But the benefits of every other piece of the organization that HubSpot brings is almost it makes everything else shy away. So they're like, we'll figure that part out or keep that part elsewhere. But when you do have this, it's just a big thing. Similar like price books, right? I'm selling 50,000 screws. Number one, you got to support less than a penny. Key, right? This stuff costs less than a penny. Can't support that out of the box right now. Something that we're looking to solve for. Hey, if they buy 20,000, it's this amount. Kind of like your graduated pricing or package pricing, things like that. Solved. So price books, and you can only sell that 10,000 pack to Germany. You can only sell the 20,000 pack to Spain. Having all of that, so your sales reps can just put in screws, 20,000, and it gives you the right price, or it blocks you and say you're not supposed to sell that, man.
That's awesome.
That's what we're looking to solve for.
More people in HubSpot. I feel like that also brings in like different departments that may have been like not HubSpot or CRM agnostic, but the examples that you shared with like the different approval processes, them having to be tied into their account. I've found a lot of software tools have, with certain kind of companies, had a secondary effect. I mean, at first of like, I don't want to do it because it's change and change is hard. But once they get past that mountain, increased transparency, improved communication, and then like just reduced like stress load from the individuals that we service and work with. It does take a little while though.
You said it early. Scientifically, there is.
I love that phrase. You should
You did it.
definitely reason that, and then definitely cite
Go ahead and
me
write
for
that.
it.
Go ahead and patent one. There's a service where you can patent phrases. Used to be a mailing in a letter.
B2C marketing for a long time, so like quips and just like short phrases. I'm your guy. You need a happily tagline. Hit me up. I'll come up with something. For sure. What is the biggest challenge of having such a niche inside of a niche market? Besides, like, is it finding customers, or is it finding problems, or is it neither of those and something?
It's going to be a hybrid of those, right? When you're dealing with ecosystems. So this goes beyond HubSpot. This will go to your WordPress. This will go, well, it won't go to your WordPress. It'll go to your Shopify's. It'll go to any other platforms. You have to find challenges that aren't going to be solved by the platform. Most platforms don't try to build a bunch of features. HubSpot is feature chain gun. It is like, like all this stuff coming out, right? So you have to be really mindful of like, is this worth solving? Have I really found that this is somewhere that they're not going to go? Or is it something that is just a temporary gap that I want to leverage to, again, maybe build my services pipeline of people that get this little app and they end up having a similar problem that I provide a suite of services around? Or is it like, hey, platform, are you going to be able to do something that's almost revolutionizing the use of the platform? That's where the challenge lies in understanding not to build something that's not worth building. And there's always just the, hey, who are the people that need this? For Event Hapily, it's a lot easier because it is events. Go to the nav bar. Do you do events? Use HubSpot? Probably a solution here. You're using Google spreadsheets. You're doing something silly. You don't really have a check-in process. You got badges and you're glad you have someone like counting how many badges are there to see how many people showed up, like things like that, right? So that's different. But when we have all of our, our utility apps, like our Clone Attacks, your Associates, TikTok Today, I cannot do any type of marketing to be like, I think you might need today's date in your HubSpot. I don't know what you're doing. Or there's no possible way. There's no possible way. Shout out to Clone Attack. Wow. There's no way to find out I'm a HubSpot user and I need to duplicate deals, tickets, whatever. There's no way to market to that pool of people. You just have to exist and be existing in the right place. Like where's the person who's looking for the problem? I'm looking for this problem. I can't duplicate stuff. They find the forums, they find YouTube, they find everything, right? So it's just about being loud enough to be found when that person has that problem. There is no such outbound to reach and call. Also, it's cheap. There's this, when you talk about solutions and you were able to do something outbound in the B2B spectrum. You have $10,000, $50,000 contracts. I can afford to call a bunch of people and demo and spend all this time following up to get one sale. When you got an app that's $20 a month, you just have to be found.
That's a very good point too. It's been fun watching Hapily evolve over the I want to say a year. Is that it?
It's been what years? It's been like a year, like a couple years. It's in 2020, 2021, 2020. It's been a blur, man. It's been a blur. So yeah, it's been a couple years as we've really started to build out our flagships, and that's where we're headed, right? My main vision back in the day, me and Tyrone were, imagine you go to Target. Remember back in the day, I'd say not even that long ago. It's probably 10 years ago, maybe. You go to Target, you look over the counter and you look at their POS system. It's like the green and black, like Kmart. I'll make it obvious. Kmart. Go to Kmart. What was the POS system? There's like this black and green Commodore 64.
Rounded screens, like thick. You could feel the thickness of the screen.
Well, I was like, what would be cool, right? If that was HubSpot behind the scenes. Similar to Salesforce, how there's like the bullhorns and all these world where it's a wrapper. It's HubSpot behind the scenes, but no one knows it's HubSpot. It's completely wrapped in custom UI. It's the custom front end. And that was the original thing that I thought would be kind of the mission is imagine going to the vet and they are using HubSpot. They do not know. The person that works the front desk has no idea. They have this GUI that they're entering their patient info and but it's actually HubSpot. All the automations, the workflows, kind of the CRM piece is behind the scenes, those databases, and then building that. That was the entire mission before I knew anything about HubSpot. Just as far as like, hey, we build this one thing. I wonder if lo and behold, like that would be a monumental shift in the platform to be able to, for you guys, imagine you guys going out. I want to dig in manufacturing. I go to the manufacturing. I know the industry. I'm going to these people. And I say, hey, you should buy Chris and Rich software. It's great. But Chris and Rich software is a wrapped version of HubSpot. They buy it. They buy it from you. Somehow you have gotten the HubSpot license, and that's where the gap is, right? You cannot sell HubSpot without a HubSpotter involved in all of that. So it's a monumental shift for that. But that's where I wanted to be poised when that shift has come. So we can do Event Hapily, ends up being Event Hapily, and you just go and sell Event Hapily. It's a whole platform. We have something upcoming that's similar to that where you'd be able to go sell it to people.
We might need a part 2 for this because I know we're getting in time, but that comes into like an intrinsic difference of what I see the value of HubSpot being from like my weird universe. And the fact that the idea of Chris and Rich manufacture software, right? There's a liability and a responsibility to maintain this now tool that may be better done if HubSpot just owned the relationship. I don't know, man. I never would have thought of HubSpot that way. I appreciate as a service vendor relying on the software as a separate transaction, and it's the tool we use, and unfortunately it's a required tool to do most of what we do.
But imagine you're getting that now. Hey, I'm selling Chris and Rich software. It costs $4,500 a month, and you can add on this. And now the software is going to work. HubSpot works. It just works. Shout out to them. We'll do the thing. You click contact screen comes out every time. So when you're thinking about this ISV approach, that's where you benefit fully. So you would be licensed or whatever for your HubSpot. You're paying HubSpot whatever, a couple grand for it. You can charge whatever you want because you would be not only the software vendor, but you'd also be the service and the maintenance. That's no different than paying HubSpot and you have to pay a solutions partner or special services with HubSpot to maintain and continue on. So you teach the people how to build the stuff that they need to do. This goes with any software that is used to run any business behind the scenes. When you have like a storage unit place, there's like a specific software that they bought to run how many things. Do they have a partner onboarding them with that? Maybe. But the people that work there know it, and they call somebody if something's not working. That person would be you. It would not be HubSpot. It would be you, and that's what you're charging for, that maintenance. And you can roll that out. I mean, imagine like you could do self-storage, but it's HubSpot behind the scenes. And what are you really using from HubSpot? You're pulling the CRM, you're pulling the contact data, you're pulling the deal data. You got a custom object that's for the storage. You have a specific amount.
I mean, I still think though, like the time and energy it takes to create an authentic brand, the true transparency that the software isn't owned by the company that you're wrapping it with. It's really HubSpot. I mean, the ability to, for me, those create problems. To create a brand, to create life that people will buy from, even if it's in a niche industry, you definitely know that's hard to do.
It's a different business model,
brand, which is very Googleable, and then be the HubSpot keeps doing HubSpot. Use growth if you want to do outbound for $50 million and up manufacturers in the United States and Canada. That I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different business model. It's a different business model. It's a software company. That's why there are multi, in the 9, 10, 11 figure companies that have done this in the Salesforce world. You buy this thing, no one knows it's Salesforce. It's just software. Just like anything that you're using, like we're using Riverside right now. What if Riverside was just WordPress? You had no idea.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's something, right? Like it's something. It's JavaScript, it's front end, it's stuff, right? Like everything is built from something.
Yeah.
So why not use? It's like instead of like I'm using TypeScript and I'm using AWS Lambdas, I'm using this. It's like I'm using HubSpot and Hapily and this. That's the tools. It's all fragmented somewhere, whether it be down to the code or down to a platform. Just like every AI tool for the most part is a wrapper. It's just I do this, talk to OpenAI. I do this, it's just talking to AI, OpenAI. This is just talking to Claude. So regardless of the puzzle pieces, you're right. It's a different business model. You're in the software game rather than the services game. And when you're in the services game, you can depend on the software vendor, aka HubSpot, to uphold their part of the deal. When you swap that around and you become a software vendor with HubSpot as a tool, it's up to you to maintain your part of the deal, which is the whole deal. The upside, way higher. I mean, these companies are getting sold for 80, 90, 100, 200, whatever $1 billion or $1 million. Different world, but that was the original kind of perspective of who's poised to do that right now, if that is available. And that was in 2020. I was like, oh, this is what it could be possible. It's not possible right now.
Well, thank you. Maybe that was just like a hidden trap to keep people from creeping up on you. Maybe, but I'm
Oh, well, I
very
mean, when we
impressed.
built the Real City back in the day, like Real City is just MLS. It's a OG app. I was like, why can't you just have Zillow? Like Zillow takes all your stuff. If I put my listing on Zillow and I'm a realtor, guess what? They're going to see it on Zillow. They're going to call somebody else. That's my listing. Now I got to split it and do all this stuff. You lose the data. I can't see who's going on Zillow and how many times to other properties. But if you build it on top of HubSpot, and I can build my content hub site with MLS properties and this, that's the concept, right? Like you have all the data, you have everything. So that's a world that I would love to see. But in the interim, it's just about building on top of the platform. People have to have HubSpot. They have a relationship with HubSpot. They have a relationship with us or any other apps that they have. And that's the game. But at a kind of big vision is that would be cool.
It's so interesting. I didn't realize how valuable spending almost an hour with you just talking about this stuff would be. I think you really have like opened up. I don't know if there's ever been a time where I've talked to a pure, I don't mean to like downplay you as a software developer. Just I would say like not what's visionary. It might be a little too
I'm just
aggressive.
a nerd,
Somewhere in
man.
the middle, man. Like
I am definitely not a software developer. I will put that on the internet loud and clear. I am not a software developer, but I am a nerd and I play a lot of video games. And this is just another video game I got.
it's definitely a pleasure, man. You are.
It's just like Goldeneye.
It's just nice to be in a universe of empathetic, caring, heart wearing on their sleeve types, sharing ideas. You know, directly and indirectly, you've been an inspiration for me and how I've been able to present myself to the universe with all my human flaws. And yeah, man, you're doing good stuff. You're having an impact outside of what you're aware of, maybe.
No, I appreciate the love, dude. I got to do a lot better job. But yeah, we're just interstellar beings, stardust having a human experience, and might as well make the best of it. But let's keep the human in it.
Well, now you got two extra people on your team. I was always there, just less loud. I'll get loud.
Appreciate that, man. I need some more thumbs. I'll tell you what.
That's been great, dude. Rich, I feel bad. I've hogged the entire conversation this round.
You know, I'm sitting in awe. You remind me of a project that I worked on where basically did the same thing. I took HubSpot, put a wrapper around it, created a virtual summit system, same thing. And I ran into that same snag where when you want to get it out to as much of the market as possible, it's really hard because you need to have that interaction with HubSpot. And then that's when I made my exit from the project because at that point, limited by what was possible with HubSpot. So, there's some really cool stuff. I remember some of your stuff from App Chemist side of things too, back in the day. Yeah. I think I even used your portal that you guys created back then as well. So, and that was, so I guess that kind of leads me to a question. Like when you're building these kind of things and HubSpot turns around and starts building it themselves, you know, how do you differentiate yourself and continue with that product, or do you abandon it? What's your thoughts
So it's
there?
a little bit of both, right? So we were fortunate enough to make enough noise early on where there wasn't like a lot of apps. I mean, again, separating between integration and app. Integration is I have my own software company, suck it into HubSpot, or an app where it is built for HubSpot natively. And when we had the portal, we had reached out to the PM and they're like, hey guys, we're thinking about building this. Want to talk? I was like, who is this? Are you trying to suss us out? Absolutely. And again, who are we to stop the behemoth from building a thing that they should have? Cool. So we were involved early on in the kind of ideation and development of HubSpot's original portal. Because he's like, what do you guys do? One of the biggest things that we talked about was power contacts, which for the portal is like, hey, I am a system admin. I need to be able to see the tickets, but I need to be able to see anybody in my organization's tickets. So the same company. I work at this company. I'm associated with everybody that's associated with that company. I want to see everybody's tickets so that I can just keep that. And that was one of the functionalities that we had early on just from user feedback. And they wanted to say, like, how do we implement that? Is that something implementable? Like, why do you need that? Why is that important? And we kind of just like laid it all out. I don't think that feature exists today now, though, still. But that's something we had, and to differentiate ourselves, we had, as they were starting to roll those out, we still had that feature plus a laundry list of features that people were like, hey, can I do this? Hey, can I export? Hey, can I do this? Hey, can I organize the columns? Hey, can I do that? We're like, sure. Okay. And I'm like, Tyrell, can you do this? Hey, yo, Ty, can you do this? And we would just build all the features. And that's what made us nimble and stick around for a while. I mean, now you should use Content Hub, you should use Content Hub for sure, or you should use their native portal. But it's all buildable now because that was pre Content Hub, pre CMS Hub, before everything. So nowadays they have the better native solution. You want to do everything native as possible, but it's just about like maintaining differentiation and trying to go deep in a vertical that, HubSpot won't go into. And we've just been, again, fortunate enough over the years to have the communication with HubSpot, understanding, are you going to go this direction? Because we'll zag if you're going to zig, and kind of that motion. But it is difficult, man, to make sure. I know people, we had the story, we had an app that we thought was going to be bananas. It was called Mass Edit. I forgot. I don't think I had a cute name for it, but Mass Edit was the name because it was really quick. It was allowing you to update in bulk all the associated properties or associated objects of something. So if I'm looking at a company, I want to update all the contacts to have favorite color purple, right? I would be able to do that in the CRM card. Just contacts, boom, mass update. The day we put it out, like just to test it, Kyle had the thing. He's like, yo, this is new. Check this out. Like, you can associated contacts to see. I was like, this guy's tapping the phones. So we were just like, well, that is throw it out. Yeah, we're just like, it was great. Spent that time for nothing.
I guess speed to market really plays an important factor there.
But it's something that like you wouldn't. I don't think anybody could use HubSpot and not like click view all associated text and then just bulk edit them. It's just a feat, but it didn't exist. That's why I'm saying the iterations are so fast. But I can't believe I live without this. Almost like, shout out to TikTok today. Like, there's no today's date, and we're going to keep providing value with today's date. Even though it's simple, it's kind of, the infra is kind of crazy because we're doing millions and millions and millions of properties every single day, constantly. It just doesn't exist. It probably could. All the JS functions like sum, count, all that stuff probably exists, but today doesn't. Similarly to, date time was something that I think somebody built that, but then now, date time was a problem. Like, you didn't even know that it was a date time, and then it's like when you looked at the time, but now you can edit that. It's a native feature. Should have been native. I think someone built the app. I know someone built the app, but the app is no longer. You might have to iterate on it to differentiate it. But again, those are the things that you just have to be aware of. Is this going to be built? I can't spend a bunch of time and money like building this thing. That's just part of the game. It's a part of platform. Shopify had the same thing where people built all this post checkout stuff because you had to really be crazy hacky and do like extra pages outside of the checkout and then kind of redo the checkout. And then they're like, yo, guess what? You can update the theme liquid on Shopify checkout, and then all that stuff kind of went away. I wouldn't say it went away, but like you can just do it now. Yeah. There's no need to kind of mess around with post purchase and same thing. And that's why when I brought up WordPress, I'm like, well, guess what WordPress builds? Nothing. It is a platform. It is open source. It's just this thing, and everything revolves around the community. And the HubSpot community is awesome, but when you talk about like the app community, we can all sit at one table. Inbound, it's one table. Next inbound, same table. So if it was WordPress developers, it would be an amphitheater. 600,000 people, WordPress, or whatever, right? So that's, again, part of the platform and what they're looking to build towards seemingly is this power of platform. But there's a lot of features coming on that platform. So there's some dichotomy there.
That's awesome.
That's
thanks for that.
A totally unique perspective in a universe that I live and breathe every day.
I'm just sitting over here in the corner trying to mess around with it.
No, I'm just going to start throwing stuff at you virtually.
It's okay.
Hey, let's talk about this.
I'm here to chat. I got to do a better job of, not being in the corner, coffee, cats.
Get things off the keyboard a little bit,
I relate to that. Awesome. Well, thank you, Dax. This has been awesome. I want to touch base later and talk more about skateboarding and traveling and being a nerd because that's my life.
Hey.
So we're going to do that. But again, thanks for dropping a whole bunch of knowledge today and being you and sharing your seaweed and raisins with us.
Thanks for calling me out. If I could just, smell a vision, eat a vision, throw that in there, I would, but I couldn't. Shout out to knowing what seaweed is. People are like, are you eating tissue paper? Is that a black zigzag? I don't know what it is, right?
Here we go.
That's terrible thing.
Hey, some people are scared to, call it out. I'm not. I'm going to eat. I'm hungry. I'm still hungry.
Listen, like I said, until this production goes up, you're stuck bringing your own snacks. So I appreciate you doing that.
That's super funny. We just put you a snack box while you record this, just because we love you. That's funny.
I'm going to pre-recording snack box. See if I can get snacks sent to the guests and maybe give it enough time to get them whatever.
I'm blessed, man. I have snacks. I don't have enough up top, but I'm blessed. I got plenty of snacks. I got 2 kids. Snacks are strong. So, what's it called? Like are you hungry? Are you hungry for snacks? Because that snack stomach is infinite. Dinner stomach, dinner and dessert. Yeah, the dessert stomach is infinite. Black hole.
Always available.
Let's do that.
We gotta get a Dax Miller for next year.